Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're thrilled to death that you are listening to our show, the Guitar Knobs podcast.
Yes, smooth jazz.
Tony,
podcast.
you've got a lot of schmutz on your sleeve there. What is that?
That is dust from the shop.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Glad we sorted that out.
I do have to work for a living.
Ladies and gentlemen, aside from listening to Tony drivel on about...
Drivel. Isn't that a Led Zeppelin song?
Drivel on?
Drivel on.
It might be. We've got a great guest tonight. You're going to have to look him up as soon as you hear who we've got. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guest.
My name is Matt Schiemann. I'm of the owner and creator of Schiemann Guitars.
Schiemann Guitars. Now, go ahead and spell that for everybody.
Sure, yeah, that's a hard one. Schiemann.
Right.
Guitars.
Schiemann Guitars. And you are operating out of?
Fuquay Varina, North Carolina.
Oh, what? What did you say?
I know.
Bless
That's a
you.
crazy name.
That sounds like the noise that you make before you sneeze.
It kind of sounds like you're cursing at somebody, but you're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuquay Varina.
Fuquay.
It's about
Purina. That
Varina.
Varina. Fuquay Varina.
Yep.
Wow.
It's about 45 minutes south of Raleigh.
You must have to
okay.
do a lot of audible spelling in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Schiemann Guitars out of Fuquay Marina in North Carolina.
What did he say?
Your address has got to be like one of the most... You used all the letters.
I think
right.
so.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Schiemann
multiple
Guitars,
lines.
Fuquay Marina, North Carolina.
I'm just missing a Z.
Yeah. All right.
Give me the Scrabble tablet.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, wait. Where can people go see your guitars? Because they really need to do that.
Yep.
Right now, the only place that I have is a shop in Clayton called Grit and Chime. They've got a couple of them right now. I actually need to take him some to try to restock because I think he's actually sold out of them right now. But otherwise, I get a lot of people that just come to the shop in my house and go straight there. So I'm very much just the only builder doing it, and it is you order from me, and you're working only with all of these.
From what I hear, you're the best luthier in Freakish, Virginia for Varina.
North Carolina.
Yes.
So how about people that just want to get a sneak preview? Where should they go online?
Let's see. Casino Guitars in Southern Pines. They just did an interview with me, so they have a demo going currently right now online with a bunch of the guitars there. So that'd be an easy place to log on to hear some of them.
Cool. How about your website?
Website is SchiemannGuitars.com too.
Cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Instagram.
Instagram. Don't forget the IG.
Instagram is Schiemann Guitars.
Yes. Okay. I know everybody that was driving was writing all that down going, wait, how do you spell that one? You'll figure it out.
I'd like to buy a vowel, please.
Yes. There's plenty. So, excellent. Well, there are so many builders in the Carolinas. This is kind of remarkable.
Well, I think part of it is there's a lot of furniture building, or was a lot of furniture
You
building
think so?
in North Carolina. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
North Carolina, and just for the crafts in general, North Carolina is a massive place for people that just are makers. Like not just in guitars, but just the craft general idea. Like there's a ton of makers here. There's a place called Penland that's up in the mountains, and their entire thing is crafts. So they have a whole school for ceramics and textiles and blacksmithing and all that kind of stuff. And I think that brings in tons of people from around that are just interested in making.
Yeah. And Ashland.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you have any issues
Asheville,
with
Asheville.
Asheville? Yeah.
Yeah, Asheville. Penland is right outside of Asheville. It's up in the mountains. Asheville is probably about 4.5 hours or so.
Oh.
We're just out of the mountains. We didn't get hit with Helene at all or anything like that.
Wow. Thank goodness. Yeah.
We got a lot of friends that really got hit pretty hard though with that. I mean, it's crazy.
Dreadful.
My wife actually just drove through it this weekend, and she said that there's still damage everywhere. They're still trying to recover from all
That's
that.
going to take years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're anywhere close to the river. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a great time talking with Matt. He's, as you can tell, he's obviously a nice chap, and we're going to ruin that for him. So, anyways, let's just a couple of announcements. I'm happy to say,
Yes.
we have the hoodies have been ordered.
Hoodies have been
they
ordered.
are in process.
Ah.
Yes. It took a little bit longer than I would have liked, but we're there. We're there, man. And
Don't look back.
No, I'm trying to think of. Nope, that's kind of it-ish right
That's
now.
it? That's it for your
Yeah,
announcements?
I'm going to keep it small. Keep
Okay.
it small.
That's cool.
We're coming off of the Four on the Floor episode,
Yep.
which was
Tube
long, and we
Screamer
said-
variants.
we said a lot of words,
Yep.
so I think I'm still recovering from that. But man, that was fun.
It was good. And I think I learned a few things.
So did I. Yeah.
And
I
it's-
mean, I always do because I have the most to learn out of just about everybody on our show. So.
Don't sell yourself tall. I always say I'm a little short for my weight.
Yes. Okay, so anyways, we're going to get on with what's going on in our music world this week. And we're going to start off with Tony.
Yeah.
And he's going to just tell us what's up. And then we're going to check in with Matt.
I'm going to complain today.
Okay.
In
Well,
my-
Rob's not here, so.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
I am just, I'm shocked. Shocked, appalled, all of those things at the cost of spray paint.
What? Is it what, like $14 now?
I went to the auto parts store today because I like
you got
using
auto
lacquer.
parts spray paint.
Yeah, I use spray lacquer.
Okay.
And it's up to $16.95 a can.
Wow.
Now, when I started doing this, I could get a can
Tariffs.
for like $6. No, it has nothing to do with
Oh.
tariffs.
Okay. I just wanted to throw a buzzword in.
No, I think it has everything to do with just the solvents that are required and new regulations on the solvents. Although maybe in a few years we won't have to worry about that.
I don't know what that means, but anyways, let's go.
Well,
Keep
no
going.
need. We'll get rid of that EPA and all
Oh,
that
right,
stuff.
right.
But anyhow, yeah, I'm just shocked, and so the only thing that I can do now, of course, is I found a couple of good sources of auto touch up, and they're like racing companies,
Yeah.
or parts suppliers, and I can actually find it for like around $10 a can. But I mean, I'm just shocked. It just blows my mind that a little rattle can costs $10
What
to
are you
$15.
painting?
Well, if I like clear material painted on the backside.
Oh, right.
So any of my gold guards.
Yep.
Or I do white, I do black. There's all kinds of different things that I do.
Yeah.
Using clear material. Mm-hmm. And so that's just that's my complaint for the week.
Well, all right. You can take that complaint and
Not do anything with it. Stop painting guards. I guess.
so. Yeah. Matt, how about yourself?
I mean, I don't have any complaints about the spray paint, I guess.
That's my job. Keep in your lane, man.
I have no. I mean, prices of things in general have gone up, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Nobody's shocked.
anything new to anybody right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, but to me, that's, I mean, to essentially triple the price, to me, that's shocking. I mean, I haven't bought.
How much were you paying before? Like,
Well,
what were
I mean,
you expecting it to be?
I thought around $10 would be fair, right? And when I first started doing this, I could get cans for like $6-7 at any auto parts store. And online, I could get it for $5 or $6, whatever. But now, like I said, the online pricing is up to about $10. And, if you need something quick and just want to run down to the auto parts store, I mean, they're just, I mean, I said, geez, did the prices go up? And he said, yep. It's just like, okay, gee, thanks. But Yeah, but no, I mean, you're absolutely right though. The whole, I mean, any parts that you're buying, everybody is getting hit, and they have to pass it on to customers.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah. So outside of paint, anything in your like, and if you can keep it from actually building guitar stuff, any kind of music that you're doing yourself, or music that you're listening to, or little guitar doodads that you're digging, or anything like that?
Well, in terms of music, I feel like I'm always a little behind on music. Like I always feel like I'm that guy that's like discovering new bands, new to me, that are like been out for 10 years that people already know about.
Right.
So I feel like I'm constantly.
Dude, have you guys heard that Nickelback?
I heard this new band Creed, man. What kind of music do you listen to?
I'm pretty wide open on things. Like I do enjoy country music. I mean, I live out in the country here.
Yeah.
I enjoy like, Radiohead. I like Alabama Shakes a lot. I like Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty wide open on things for the most part. I don't know a ton when it comes to more obscured bands. That's something I really want to kind of get into a little bit more of, is learning some more of that.
Well, that's where Spotify comes in.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. I feel like Spotify is constantly just like giving me the exact same stuff that I've already. I feel like their algorithm does not do a good job of presenting new things to you all the time, or at least mine doesn't. I feel like it's constantly a rotation of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
so.
what's the thing that you are digging listening to right now?
Like Alabama Shakes, man. Like I'm saying, like I'm so behind. I've really gotten into them. Like I knew about them when they were popular 15 years ago or whatever. But for some reason, like I've gone back to listening to them. I've been really into them lately.
Well, that's okay, because like actually we've got a really wide audience as far as age goes. So there's going to be some people that are like, "What's that?"
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Right.
Next best thing since Tommy Dorsey.
Wow, you really put yourself out there on that one. Let's see. Well, as for me,
Todd, what about you?
No, well, thank you, Tony. So we have I mentioned that we've got a new bass player in our band, and I'm very stoked about that. We've had a couple of practices. Unfortunately, my drummer's dealing with something right now, and so he said, "Hey guys, we have to," because our rehearsal space is in his basement, and so we said we can't practice here for a while. And I said, "Okay, we're doing it at my house." I didn't know where we're gonna put it.
Wow!
But his house is actually, he lives like down the block from me, so our house is about the same size and about the same layout almost. Yeah. So. Got everything down there. The dumb thing is, he's a left-handed drummer, so I can't. I wanted to go down and like, woohoo! I get to play on a drum set. I'm like, it's backwards.
Well, it's just the snare's in a different spot,
and the hi-hat, and the ride.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's all different.
Yeah,
Tony.
it's all different. You're right.
So yeah, it isn't just like, oh, I'll just sit a different way and move my hands different.
Maybe you can learn to be a lefty drummer.
I might naturally be a lefty drummer. Who knows?
Because that's what Ringo was.
I know.
Ringo was a right-handed person, but he played drums left-handed.
Yes, that's amazing. So, anyways, actually shoot left-handed, from what I understand.
Huh?
I don't know. Is that right? No, that's not
left-handed?
Right.
Which hand is your trigger finger?
I squint with my. I'm trying to remember. I squint with my left. I squint with my right.
That's right.
My left. Yeah. Somebody told me when I was there, they were like, "Why are you shooting left-handed or something?"
Well, I mean, if your trigger is with the hand that is your that you're shooting.
No, I mean basketball.
Oh, I thought you meant like guns.
I'm just kidding. I squint one eye and anyways,
you got me.
I don't even know.
You got me with that.
Yeah, I know.
So so
now
you're gonna have the house loud.
Now the house is gonna be mighty loud. It already was loud, but now it's gonna be louder.
You want to send Cammy over to our place?
Well, now I have to displace 3 people.
Oh boy.
So anyways, but we'll all get along.
Okay.
It'll be great.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'm
nice.
excited about it. Okay. Tony,
Yes.
you know what?
What?
We're about to do one of our favorite segments.
What did
And we just did a whole show on this before.
What
It was
was
called
it?
The 4 on the Floor.
Okay. Oh, I
Yes,
remember that.
Yes. And
Didn't you put that board together?
I did put that board together.
How did you put that board
with
together?
a whole bunch of Tour Gear Designs patch cables.
Tour gear design
Yes.
patch cables.
Fortunately, I've got a box of them, and I said, "No problem, I've got this." On top of my board at home,
Yeah.
and in addition to the sort of garage sale board that is like I'm just trying stuff out all the time on.
Yeah.
So
You know what would be cool?
what?
Mix all of your Tour Gear Design patch cables in the box and then just pull them out. And that's the one you have to use.
That would be totally doable because they're so versatile.
Really?
They are. They are super versatile, and they're very, very affordable.
Yes, they are.
Considering how good they are,
Yep.
how much they're going to help your board,
Yep.
and how tough they are.
Yes.
So go over to tourgeardesigns.com, load up your cart, hit purchase, then you're going to get a coupon code.
Coupon
You're gonna
code.
get the coupon code after you say, yes, I'm about to purchase.
Let me guess. That coupon code is the guitar knobs, all lowercase, all one word.
It makes it so easy, and that makes it easy to save 15% right out of the gate.
15%.
Yes, and 15 goes a lot in our world today, right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it does.
So make sure you go do that. You will be happy. Thank you to Tour Gear for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3.
4 on the floor.
All right, Matt from Schiemann Guitars. What is your 4 on the floor?
Oh, I feel like my always on pedal is my Greer Lightspeed.
Ooh,
Big
Greer
fan of that
Lightspeed.
pedal. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was
Actually, it's a funny story. I met him before I got into guitar pedals. I met him at my sister-in-law's wedding.
Oh, wow.
Just like, yeah, totally before making guitars, knew anything about him, anything like that.
he's a hard guy to miss.
He is, yes. His wife and my sister-in-law worked at a bank together and became like really, really good friends. So when she got married, they got invited to the wedding, and I met him that way
Oh, that's cool.
through them.
Now,
Yeah,
Todd,
very
how did
strange.
you meet Nick? Is it Nick Greer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met him in Georgia because my parents.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
lived about an hour away from my folks live in Greensboro, Georgia. Well, my mom does now. Yeah. Anyways, and so when I was coming back, I was like, I actually did a twofer. I went to Acorn and met up with
That's
with
right.
those guys, and
Yeah.
and also went over to Greer when he was still there. He's in, I believe, Portland now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he moved back. He's back in Georgia again.
Really?
Oh, we didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
That's-
just recently moved back.
Oh, I'll have to hit him up.
yeah,
and
why
get
don't you
him
reach
back
out
on the
to him?
show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, back to you. So, what was the why the Lightspeed?
I think that it's just probably the best like low gain pedal that you can do. It's literally almost always on for me, like all the time. It sounds fantastic. It cleans up nicely. It can get dirty if you need to. I feel like it just is. I just can't think of a better low gain kind of pedal that's out there.
Nice.
For me, it's the best. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I mean, my go-to for mostly on most of the time is the EP boost, because that to me sounds fantastic into, I'm playing primarily Voxes, and it just gives it that little bit extra, and you don't have to get quite as loud on the amp either.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, oh, now what? Just because this will give some context. What kind of amp are you playing?
I play through a Vox also. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. The Vox AC.
I've never tried the Lightspeed. That's got to
really?
be one of our 4 on the floors. Is sort of, I guess, not quite just plain boosts, but
Yeah, just like
front loaders.
Yeah, front loaders.
Front loaders, yes. I think that would be a really good one to do.
All right, put that on the list.
That's on the list. Okay. It already is on the list, but anyways, that was just okay. So, Lightspeed. How about number 2?
Number 2, I would say I've got a 1981 Inventions, the DVR. I really like that one. Also, I feel like that's a good one. That is, you can do anything from also kind of low gain all the way up to fuzz kind of sounds. I feel like you can dial it in on just about anything you need. He's also, I feel like a lot of times I make connections with these people too. And I think that probably plays into some of the things.
I mean, that's the theme of the show, man. It's like, that's the whole thing. You meet the person you have some kind of reference or contact to, what they're about, what they think, how, and all that stuff. And then, now you've got a personal connection to your gear.
That's true.
Yeah, I think
that's why we're talking to you, dude.
That's right. It is interesting though, like once you meet somebody and like how that affects your perception of that gear, and you either like it a lot more or you're like, ooh, I do not want to ever use this pedal again, or whatever gear it is.
That's a fair statement. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why actually why we are actually pretty choosy. When it comes down to it, because we want to make sure that we're connecting people to the right people. So there,
people who need
that's what it says on the brochure. Okay, how about number 3?
Number 3, I recently just got this one though, and I don't know if it's one that I could live without, but I am enjoying it and it's fun right now. It's the Walrus Juliana. I've just really enjoyed playing around with chorus. I haven't really used it all that much, but it's one of those that when you need it, that's a great pedal to have it on.
Do you use it as a heavy effect or a really kind of light?
No, light. Yeah. I feel like too much chorus is just kind of too, I don't know, watery, I guess.
Welcome to 1981.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun to just kind of toss in, get a little kind of tremolo-ish kind of thing going, but not overbearing or anything.
Yeah, it's real helpful to kind of fill out the sound a little bit, or if you're like the only guitar player in the band, just to beef it up. Like a doubler almost. Yeah, but I spent way too much time listening to bands from that era that just it's just sickening sweet. Yeah.
How about number 3? Wait, that was number 3.
4.
Number 4. I'm good at this.
Let's skip right to number 5.
Let's go.
Number 4 is definitely Earthquaker Devices Dispatch Master.
Yep.
Yep. Just the reverb, being able to bring in a little bit of delay on it. I mean, I feel like that's just you can get anywhere, you can turn everything up and really get some like ambient kind of reverb happening on it. You can do a little bit of slapback if you need to. I feel like it's a really versatile pedal. Yeah,
indeed. That's a very, very popular pedal. They've probably sold a few of those. I'm just guessing.
I think so. I think they may have.
Yeah. Well, that's a good. I mean, you could go play just about any show with that. That's a great pedal, man. Board, man.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into the meat of the show, which is learning more about you as a guitar builder and the things that you make and the choices that you've made to make those things.
Okay.
Little bit of background. I know a few things about you based on what I've read and what you've told me. Can you give the rest of our listeners a little bit of backstory on you, including the thing that you used to be but are not now?
Sure. So my background is in art. I went to school for art. I studied ceramics. When I was there, I got my master's degree in ceramics, and so my MFA and everything. And I ran an art studio, a pottery studio down in Florida for, close to 15 years down in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Is that where you became a kleptomaniac?
That's where I became a kleptomaniac. But yeah, and once this is probably a similar story for a lot of people, but it was, when COVID happened in 2020, I think it's one of those things where change inspires change, and we were ready to move out of Florida. We had a son who was getting close to time to go to school. We didn't really care for the school systems that were down there, so we're looking for different places. My wife's sister lives up here in North Carolina, so we're like, oh, let's go up there and visit. We had been up here a bunch of times because of the pottery studios and all that kind of thing that are up here. So we've been visiting friends, and made the move up here. And when I did that, I put together a parts caster guitar right around this time, and it felt very unfulfilled by making that. It was just like, it was like putting together IKEA furniture in a lot of ways. Like I didn't feel comfortable telling people like I made this. It just was put together, but I still had this like bug that I wanted to make something. So I started making guitars, and eventually I found myself wanting to build guitars instead of making pottery. And it just became to the point where I was like, okay, I've got a lot of builds here, and I need to be spending money on these. I need to find a way of getting rid of them so I can make more builds. And if I'm going to do this, then let's jump in and do it. So, I mean, I really kind of went into this with not much experience. So I've been learning as I'm going, and very much a self-taught luthier, I guess. I wouldn't really call myself that, but I don't know what
I think that is actually the term. If you make bread, you're a baker.
I know. It just feels like a title that I haven't earned yet, I guess, in some ways.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying.
So it looks like I'm guessing the majority of your actual builds now are more of like an offset style guitar, kind of jazz mastery, kind of maraudery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's way bigger body, which I like.
I've really Telecasters and offsets are like the two guitars I just really, really like. I like the simplicity of the Telecaster, the like no fuss, just, it is what it is. And then the fact that you can get into offsets and get into this whole other range of more is more kind of an attitude with them. So I like that, that juxtaposition, I guess, between the two.
Yeah. Are you making your own metal plates for the offsets? Mm-hmm. Wow, those are cool because
making those out of aluminum.
Yeah, those really do have the shape and style of like the original. Well, the second V2 Marauders of the late '60s, especially the trem and all that, and that it's really cool. I mean, I love guitars that have a lot of metal bits on the front side.
Yeah,
I mean those are really cool.
Indeed, very tasteful.
Yeah, it just adds. It's a good way of, from an aesthetic standpoint, just kind of breaks that surface up a little bit more too.
Mm-hmm. If you did
a whole moving around the piece.
Yeah, if you did a whole pick guard, it would almost look like overkill or something.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So you are self-taught, you said. Now, you've obviously spent a lot of time learning the mentality, the discipline, and some of the
skills,
the design choices from the your art degree and pottery. So you definitely had a leg up going in that aspect, I would say. Maybe more so than others who are just who just start out going, I like making things with wood.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, yes. I mean, I had never really even touched like a bandsaw or a router in a lot of ways. So coming in and, learning a whole different craft was intimidating, and that took a lot of time. But at the same time, I was, I guess, coming from the background that I have, learning through failure was a thing that was not intimidating to me.
Yeah.
So I was very fine with knowing that I was going to make a lot of really bad guitars for a while, but that curve will eventually start to flatten out, and they get better each time.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is just trying not to make the same mistake more than 2 times in a row.
Yeah. So for someone who is not a luthier, and we'll say for this that you are one, we're gonna grant you that title for this show. What were some of the most intimidating things that you ran into in your quest?
Well, I mean, definitely the machinery. I mean, just learning a router when you haven't actually used one before is the scariest machine there is. Like, it just feels like it's going to rip your fingers off, because it absolutely can and will do that if you are not paying attention. So, learning that part of it was hard. When it came to actually building, the neck is by far the most difficult piece in the entire thing, just in terms of mathematically figuring out the frets and where all that needs to go, and scale lengths and that kind of thing. But then just getting the feel, trying to figure that out. It was, for me, that part was the most difficult, but also the most interesting when it comes to pottery. When you're making a mug or something like that, there's a lot of emphasis on the handle and how the handle feels in the hand, and how the cup is placed into the fingers, and how when you're lifting it up, how it's going to feel with the balance and all that. And I feel like a lot of that information, a lot of that language was a similar thing into making necks. That if that neck doesn't feel right, if it doesn't flow well, if it doesn't feel good in the hand, then the entire experience is ruined. You can change pickups out, you can do, whatever else with paint and all that, but I feel like the neck's got to be as close to perfect as you can get it.
And I would say that truly that's the hardest part to get right, getting the profile right, getting the thickness right. I mean, so many guitars that I've picked up and almost immediately put down have just a profile that I can't play. It just feels weird in the hand. And I think that's it's admirable that you're doing your own necks, because there's a lot of builders that are just buying necks and
right,
putting them on guitars and such. But that's cool.
It's interesting too, because it is so personal too. I mean, you'll find one person that they want a 0.83 carve at the first fret, and it needs to be like a C shape, and then there's other people that is the opposite of what they want. So it's good when you're doing custom builds, because you can ask those kind of things and narrow down exactly how they want those. But when you're making a general guitar for out there, I mean, it is crazy how much that matters. I shouldn't say it's crazy. It makes sense on how much that matters to people. And it's hard to find a carve that is a universal kind of size for everybody.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, that's the beauty, I think, of doing what you do, which is custom work like that you can tailor it to the individual.
How about the thing that always makes me most intimidated about this, and not that I'm like, when I'm building a guitar, this is what I'm most intimidated by, but the idea of it, like the thing that would make me say, yeah, I'm not going to do this, would be the math. Because I'm I'm the worst. I am the worst when it comes to math stuff. And you can build the most awesome guitar, but if the math is off on like the strings, the hardware, where everything's lining up,
the frets,
all the things that really, really need to be in the right place. That scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are things that have kind of streamlined it. So there are templates out there. So for things that are like, I use a template on 25.5-inch scale lengths and 24 3/4 scale lengths, just because that's what the far majority of people are usually wanting, something within those two. So just having a template just kind of knock it out. But it is when somebody is like, I want something that is 23.25 inch scale length, and then you have to go through and you're measuring each fret, exactly out and all that. And that's where it gets intimidating and scary and all that, because you can burn through some fretboards not realizing that you were off by just a little bit on one cut.
Yeah, you can't be off. I mean, that's the one
No.
thing. One sour note on the neck and you're done.
Exactly.
It looks like you've got some really interesting woods that you're using for your necks too. They're really good looking, heavily figured on the back. And can you tell us a little bit about some of the choices that you're making with wood, not only in the necks but in the bodies as well?
Sure. Yeah. I guess I'm not one that buys too deep into the tone wood. Like, I think it's an ingredient among the whole thing. I think we have a tendency to think that the tone wood ingredient is a little more than what it really is in terms of electric guitars. So with that, I'm much more open, I guess, than a lot of people are to using different woods and everything that are out there. Like, I definitely use the ash, mahogany, and alder. I've gotten really into using reclaimed woods. In my area of Fuquay it's a big tobacco farming area, and it's also a developing area because we're right outside of Raleigh, and you can buy land down here. And that's essentially why we moved here, because it was much cheaper to move here than it would be to move closer into Raleigh. So there's a lot of land that's being taken up, and tobacco barns that are being torn down to make development. So I've been using a lot of the tobacco barns in the area to make bodies out of, and it's 100+ year old pine. It's got nail holes in it, and it's got scars and cracks and all that kind of thing, which I personally think is really interesting. I like to have that history that's there, and I can see how other people might be a little more apprehensive of using those kind of woods for them. But I like to take those then and then pair them with, flame roasted maple necks, or a full Zero-Cody neck, or something that's a little more exotic. Something that can kind of pair those together.
Where are you drawing your inspiration from? I guess in general, your models, your designs, it doesn't look like a hodgepodge of things, or you're just like, I don't know, here's this and here's this. Well, I mean, there's certain things, like you just looking through the gallery, and I would encourage everybody to go straight to the gallery, because I think that's probably where you have one of the best representations of what you're capable of doing. But in those, yes, they all look different, but they do look like they're coming from the same mind.
Well, that's a very good compliment. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. In terms, I mean, the Amarillo, which is essentially just like the Telecaster, we'll ignore that one because that's pretty much the Telecaster.
Yeah, where'd you get that idea from?
Yeah, people love Telecasters, and they want them.
Yeah.
Not ever change. But the offsets, there's much more freedom to play around with those. And when I was wanting to start making offsets, I was really looking at Starcasters are a big one. Mm-hmm. The Marauder was a big one that I was looking at. The Novo, and then Jaguar, and trying to find that blend of those four guitars and how to blend them together, make them work. The hollow bodiness of the Starcaster, some of that bigger body shape of how Novo is. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. The metal that's on the Marauder, I think, is always, how many different plates there are and everything. Yeah. And then just the functionality of a Jaguar or Jazzmaster with the trem system and everything.
I think one of my favorite ones that you have up here is it's the Maduro, but it looks like it's like a funky offset junior.
It's got a wraparound tail bridge.
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
it does sort of take a little bit from just about everything, but you make it work. A lot of times, that is a recipe for disaster. We've all seen the cars that roll down the street, and you're like, you got like a bunch of gift certificates at like at the auto parts place, and it looks stupid. Nobody likes that.
Especially Todd, apparently.
Especially me, yeah. Well, no, and we've used this analogy before, which is like the salad bar mentality. And this is something that I actually use with my clients a lot, which is like the biggest mistake people do. And now salad bars that used to be a really, really big thing. They're probably not anymore. But they obviously used to be, for any of us who do remember that. And one of the biggest mistakes you can make is saying yes to everything. And so you're like, raisins, sure. Blue cheese, okay. Ranch dressing, throw it on there. Sunflower seeds, cheddar cheese, beets,
end up with a
oranges,
big pile mess.
Cottage cheese. This is gonna be great. No, it tastes like barf. You don't want that. It's stupid. Don't do that. Have an editing eye. You know what I mean? Anyways, all that is to say is that all these components coming together, that is when you either like you hit on the mark or it's just it's either right or it's not. There's no in between on that. And when I first saw your guitars, I was like, you got so much of this right. And I was just like, wow, look at that one. Wow, look at that one. Okay, dude's got great taste. And can seemingly put it together. He must be a luthier.
Of sorts.
Yes.
No, and that's I think that is important. I mean, especially on this line, the offset line, you can tell they're all related, but there are some really cool options in terms of pickups and tremolos, and then that one you like, Todd, with the wraparound. But you can tell that they're all related.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that I never quite understood. I guess I understood it. I always wanted Fender to be a little more, have more options. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do is like, if I wanted a Stratocaster, but I wanted it to have a Telecaster bridge and maybe a Jazzmaster trim and that kind of thing. So I guess that's kind of where I'm trying to go with my line is like having, the general body shape, but then let's do any combination that we can think of within this body shape.
Yeah.
And keep it interesting that way.
There's so much fun on these and so much to look at and so many unique bits and pieces that you're putting on there. Do you get a lot of, tell us about some of the requests that you get. What are some of the, do you say no to anything, number one? And what is one of the weirder things you've been asked to incorporate?
I got somebody that wanted, that's when I said no to, they wanted me to make they're really into hockey. And it was, I think I'm not into hockey. I don't really know many of the teams, but I think it's the Hurricanes that are here in North Carolina, but they wanted
we're clearly hockey fans too, because that was dead silence.
Hey, we've got the Blue Jackets here in Columbus.
Yeah, that's about it.
They wanted the body and the shape of the North Carolina state, and then a headstock that looked like a hockey stick. And I was just like, I just can't do that. No. I'm sorry. That is not what I am interested in doing at all.
Yeah. I can't, and you shouldn't. That's probably how that was.
Exactly.
Shame on you.
That was probably, that's probably the weirdest one that I've gotten, and one that I said no to. I'll get people every now and then that I'm not, and in the beginning I was okay with doing this, where it was just like, oh, I want to have a Les Paul and this kind of thing. But now I've really tried to get away from doing, I guess, copies and all that kind of thing. In the beginning that made sense, but now that I've kind of established a little bit more of what myself is, my own style, I'm really trying to do just those. In the very beginning, I was doing bodies and necks as for parts casters, and that was another thing that I just stopped doing because it just didn't. It doesn't help a brand at all, I guess.
One thing you have going for you, I think, is that not unlike some of the musical tastes you were saying, is like you've got stuff in here for that really is suited for almost every kind of music possible. You have things that are tailored towards, sort of a surf vibe. You've got definitely like, boots and dirt kind of vibe. You've got, borderline punk rock vibe in here. You got a lot to offer. And again, I don't think that is really easy to do because a lot of folks, when they start designing stuff, can get locked into, well, this is what this is what I like, and this is, and they can't necessarily, they don't allow themselves to get past that too much. But I think that you are clearly doing that.
Thanks. I don't know if that was like I didn't mean to. I guess it wasn't like a thing that I was like going out to do. I think it is very much just a reflection of the music that I enjoy, and then it was how would I make a guitar for this kind of music. Yeah. I don't really get into heavy metal or anything, so you're not going to see too many like pointy guitars.
There are no pointy guitars on this one. That's where I was like, almost everything.
Yeah,
no warlocks or anything.
Yeah.
But a cool heavy metal guitar player would play one of these.
Yes. the double paisley for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So in terms of electronic pickups, what's your go-to?
Like, who am I using for pickups?
Yeah.
I use Lawler a lot.
Yeah.
They're probably the main one that I go with. The other guy that I use is a guy named, his pickup brand is called Humble Pickups. He's up in Iowa, Joshua Randall.
Huh.
He's small, it's basically just him that makes the pickups. And I've enjoyed him. He makes great pickups. Customer service is great on them. And I don't know, it's just another one of those. I like the idea of a small builder helping out another small builder. So
yeah, we'll have to hook you up with Brandon Wound pickups. Jared.
Oh, yeah, I know Brandon Wound.
Yeah, okay. So Zach is doing some really great stuff over there, and if you haven't talked to him already, it'd be worth a call just to say hey. But
that'd be cool.
It's tough to go wrong with Lawler. So I mean, those are great pickups all around. And everything that you're putting in here, I mean, it's top notch. It sounds like.
Yeah. Now, if someone was to call you up and say, or go through a website and they say, "Hey, I really want one of these, and I want it to be this way," what can somebody look at as far as general turnaround time for these?
I quote people at about 6 months. Typically it's quicker than that. I'm trying to say 6 months just in case, machinery goes down or something like that. So that way there's buffer time that's in there. But typically, quote 6 months, but I bet I can usually get them done in 4 or 5.
That's cool. That's good. That's not a bad,
it's not terribly too
bottom.
long, but yeah.
How many are you doing a year? I guess that's kind of like the way that everybody's, the rule of thumb here, right?
Yeah, I guess I think of it more. I try to get 1 to 3 guitars made per month, and whether that's through custom orders or just building on my own to list on the website and have available. 1 to 3 guitars is usually about where I'm aiming. So I guess that averages out to, I don't know, probably 24 to 30-ish guitars a year.
That's not too shabby.
Yeah, for custom build stuff, that's not bad at all.
I keep myself busy. I try to.
Are you handling all the painting as well?
I'm doing the painting also. Yep. So everything, I'm building them. I'm painting them. Pretty much all of it. I'm starting to do a little bit on making my own pickups right now. We'll see where that goes. But but that's the very, very beginning right now. Just trying to play around with that kind of thing.
Are the I don't think that this makes it better or worse. I'm just curious, okay? Because we know lots of people who have made the switch at some point. Is everything like hand tooled, hand carved? Are you using CNC? And again, that doesn't make it less valuable.
Right. No, I'm not using any CNC, and only because I don't have a CNC machine. I would really like to use them for doing inlays. That's kind of a goal, is to get a CNC machine to do inlays and to have a little more repeatability within the bodies and everything. I think I really kind of enjoy carving the necks by hand, so I think I would still continue to do that. But I don't have anything against CNC machines. I think they're a whole nother tool, and the idea of trying to learn the programs for it is extremely intimidating to me on the other side of the whole thing too.
Sure.
So I have a lot of respect for people that use CNC. I mean, that's a whole another thing that is difficult to learn.
Okay, the $22 question that
$22.50.
$22.50. Sorry, yeah, tariffs. So, in building your guitars, you have, I would imagine, as many guitar players do, if you built this guitar and you said, "Man, this would look so awesome being played by blank." Give us three that you would love to put your guitar in their hands.
Oh man, I mean, I love Chris Stapleton. I think he's just a fantastic songwriter in terms of he keeps things simple and they work. He plays a jazz master most part. I would love to see an offset in his hands. He would probably be number one. Let me think here. Just give me 2 seconds.
Sure.
From Radiohead, Johnny Greenwood.
Oh yeah,
he would be fantastic.
I love that you have that breadth too. That's really cool. that's I mean, honestly, I think that's cool.
And then Kevin Parker from Tame Impala, he'd be a good one too.
Nice.
Any particular model that you think he would play?
I feel like, oh man, I feel like he's either. I mean, he could be either Telecaster or offset. I feel like that. I mean, you can do anything with the Tele.
The pink Verena. I'm seeing him playing the Verena.
You see him with the Verena.
Yeah.
Something all decked out.
yeah. Just psychedelic and fun and huge, and what a talent that guy is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's insane.
Okay, well, I appreciate you sharing that because it is one of the funner things. Like when you're making these things, there's got to be little dreams that everybody has. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Too cool. All right, Tony.
Yes, Todd.
We got a thing.
We got a thing?
Yes.
Oh, that thing.
That thing.
So, Todd.
Would you rather?
Yes, that's the thing.
That's the thing.
So, we play a little game called Would You Rather. And this week's Would You Rather is yet another from our good friend Mike Nacionale.
Oh. That's the thing, I guess.
And, Would You Rather is usually WOLD. You rather. This week, he is subtitling it Would, WOOD. You rather.
Apropos for the episode.
Yes, we were talking about that stuff. So, by some act of fate, you crossed paths with Maître Dubois, the world-renowned luthier, and helped him out of a dire situation. He is indebted to you and offers repayment by building you a custom guitar for free. His masterpieces start at $25,000. However, he has a back order reaching out to 5 years, but he says he will build you a guitar immediately,
Wow.
if not sooner, using leftover stock. But you need to select now.
Okay.
Here are your choices.
Excellent.
Numero uno, it's a Swamp Ash. But wait,
What'd you call me?
hey, Swamp Ash. This stock is truly Swamp Ash, as it was out in the swamp for years, but is dried out. That's nice. That's pretty cool. Its tonal qualities are very bright and resonant. However, any guitar made from this stock will have an odor, no matter how much paint or sealer is used.
Is that true? I remember watching a show about the loggers in like North Carolina or whatever. I think it was North Carolina. They were in their black river water, and they're pulling out all these logs that used. I think it was in the Carolinas.
Anyhow, that is not entirely true, but in this case, it is true.
Oh, okay.
A strong odor will exist the longer the guitar is kept in a case, but you'll want to preserve your masterpiece.
Uh-huh.
Or, number two, aged mahogany. Do you want to know more?
I do.
This has a warm, mellow tone, but the aging did not fare well for the stock. Any long-term exposure to vibrations or low tones may crack and possibly split apart the guitar body.
Why is
But-
that? Why is that?
It's just this particular stock.
Okay.
This is not a truism
Hey,
of all aged mahogany.
I am not a luthier.
Yes.
I'm learning.
Yes, you're learning. But you'll want to jam with it from time to time.
Okay.
So, you got two choices. A
So it's stinky or brittle?
Stinky Swamp Ash or brittle aged mahogany.
Oof. Okay. Tony?
Yes,
What are
Todd?
you doing?
I've had many stinky guitars in my day. And
I've actually thought about doing a raffle of 4 stinky. The stinky.
the stinky.
The stinky.
The stinky PV.
Yes.
And I have to say that when you crack open a case and out comes that horrific smell, you just don't want to play that guitar.
No. But you know it's special.
Yeah, it's got its own scent.
Yes.
So
It's like a car that you fart in a lot.
I wouldn't
Like
know
a couple, it'll air out.
Okay, Toots Novak. I'm going to go with the aged brittle mahogany
Okay.
because if for nothing else, it would be really cool if you're playing and all of a sudden it just splits into 30 pieces.
That's probably fair.
I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I do tend to like mahogany guitars better anyhow. So that's what I'm going with, aged
Okay.
mahogany.
Aged mahogany. How about yourself, Matt?
I'm going to go with the stinky Swamp Ash.
Is that just a personal thing?
That's just a personal thing, you know. I feel like it calls to me.
Now, here's the question that I have because I don't know, and I would like to know. When those logs that have been in the rivers for like 100 years or whatever, and they pull them out, are those ones that are like all like super color figured on the inside?
Not
Like
necessarily.
when the minerals have been replaced and all that stuff?
No.
No?
You're thinking of like Fender did a deal in the 60s where they would inject beech trees with different color dyes.
Oh,
And that gave them. Now there may be some
like brown
discolorations.
eyes and blue eyes.
No,
and-
don't you remember there were there were dyes. Dyes, not eyes.
Okay.
Dyes.
Got it.
And they made the Wildwood series out of that.
Yeah.
And they had some different things in there. But, I mean, what you're talking about is not what this is. Now, they did.
Yeah.
They
I was thinking about like the light stuff, the light wood that has like the big, almost like zebra kind of stripes in the wood.
older wood like that, if
Yeah.
it's, 100-year-old logs that were lost in the river,
That's
50
exactly
or 80
what
or
I said.
100. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's old growth wood, it will
Yes.
likely have stronger grain or
Yes.
larger grain.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to do that.
Well, that's not on it. It's not the option.
Well, it is. You said it was a swamp ash that was recovered out of the stinky swamp.
Well, that's different. It's not. Swamp ash is harvested from a swamp. It's
That's
not.
what I'm
It's not laying down in the swamp.
I thought it was just in the water for like 100 years. Why can't it be in the water for 100 years?
Okay,
Does
Todd,
it say it was? But does it say it was standing?
it has to be standing.
Well, at some point it did. I'm going with my original thing, which was this was something that got blown down in a storm 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And they pulled it out of the water. There was a whole show on this on TV.
I know, but it was not swamp ash.
Okay.
It was some other woods that were
Yeah.
lost. They fell off the boats.
Okay. Well,
And stuff.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm going with the swamp ash. Okay. We got to thank a few people.
That's right, Todd, because at this point of the show, there's a special group of people we'd love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer helps make this show possible. How do you become one? Quite simple. Head over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate. Become a sponsor, a friend, a hero of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win great stuff. But in addition to all that, there is one thing more. Toddley, what would that be?
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers: Anthony Lathrop, Brett Hogarth, Cameron Pappas, Darren Gregory, Don Kloss, Alad Mizrahi, James Bell, James White, John Esterly from Rare Buzzer Effects, John Sebastian, John Halverson, Justin Jones, Ken Sayers, Michael Senchuk, Mike Davenport, Owen Eads, Plutone, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Richard Kendall, Rick Calhoun, Rusty Sneeden, Stefan Lamb, Tom Barazin, Trevor Ellenberg, Trevor Gunberg, Vader and Pedals, and Ty Barnes.
Yes,
But you know, Todd,
I do.
excuse me,
And I also know that Axemen was the name of that show.
Axemen.
I knew it. But go ahead.
There's another group of executive producers.
Uh-huh.
We like to call them our grand poobahs. These are the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the A number ones. And they wear a fez whilst listening to the podcast. So special thanks to these grand poobahs: Anthony Gemolero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robison, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Gregory Randall, Hex Matos, John Williams, Martin Cliff, Matt Hart, Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Mike Nazionale, Moon Guitars, Pedro Vasquez, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, James Pennington, Zach Oswald from Brandon Wow Pickups, and Jonathan Labate from M2 Labs.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. I actually am wearing the heck out of that shirt, Jonathan, so thank you so much. All right. Whew. It's a good time talking with Matt. Matt, we need to say a great big thank you to you for sharing your time with us.
Well, I really appreciate you guys for inviting me to do this. This is a lot of fun.
You bet. I hope that we cross paths someday and get to, get one of those things in our hands and check it out. That'd be nice at a guitar show or something.
Perfect.
Well, where do you want to point people to check out the things that you do?
Definitely my website would be the best one. So SchiemannGuitars.com. And then my Instagram, if you're just trying to see like daily posts and things that are happening in the shop and just, fun stuff like that.
Yes.
So that'd be Schiemann Guitars on
want to
Instagram.
try to get sold a pair of pants or an iPhone case or a custom hat or, oh my gosh.
Yes. All the stuff.
Jeez. Yes. So yes, go there. Go check out his Instagram, and definitely go over and check out the website. Look at the gallery. That's gonna tickle your toenails, I promise. Tony.
Head over to pickguardian.com. Check out the stuff that I do. What do? I make pick guards for guitars. How do you get one? Easy. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you're trying to do, what you need, material, pickups, all the stuff. I have probably some good advice for you. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this a long time, you know. Mm-hmm. It's your opportunity to make your guitar even more yours.
Well said, Tony. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Would love to hear from you. Tell us what you like about the show. Tell us other builders that you would love to have on the show. Give us a would you rather. Say hello. Tell us what you don't like about it. I don't care. Just connect with us. We're out there, and we like it when you do that. Yes. We truly do. All right, Matt, we're going to say a good night to you, and we hope that you can have continued success with your guitars and your Lutherie title. We have put it on a business card, then it's
bestowed.
Real. Yes.
Yeah, we bestowed that on
That's
you.
right.
Yeah. And for the rest of you, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic guitar week. And subscribe!
Yep.
Nectarine lemon. Oh my God, that's terrible. What's that? Oh, whoa. You probably run into a lot of people that you're like, hey, Willie boy. It's William, thank you. You know. Oh, okay,
yeah,
sorry.
I've grown up.
You're an adult now. Okay. What size shirt can we send you?
An extra large, probably.
Okay.
Okay. You sound pretty convinced of that.
I'm trying to get down to a large.
No, what were we talking about?
No.
How old are you?
Well, I'm sorry. That's confidential.
We've got a bad connection here. There's a bad connection here.
You know what? Oh, it's got to go out and doubly.
Doubly. Well, this is going to be a lot like you're just talking with your buddies about guitars.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's we'll make it real simple for you.
Except your brand is on the line.
Yeah, except if you do poorly, you'll never sell another guitar.
You guys said we were just talking. He's young at heart. Actually, he's got the heart of a 90-year-old butcher.
Clog.
And away we go.
Do that again.
I will. And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.